If you aren't on board with this Red Sox team, it might be time to get on board. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Last night was one of the most electric nights for the Boston Red Sox so far this 2024 season. And what last night did is it kind of put me in full belief mode of the Boston Red Sox. And to be honest with you, I think you guys should be believing in this team too. So that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. I'm going to try and convince those of you who still might not be fully on board with this Red Sox team to get on board. Reasons why you should be excited about this 2024 Red Sox. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to lay out a few different reasons why you should invest your time in this Red Sox team, but I want to start with the easy ones, and the first one is their current record. The Boston Red Sox are currently sitting 7 games over 500, which is the most that they've been over 500 so far this entire season. The actual record is 43-36, which is good enough to currently hold the final wild card spot in the AL by a half game over the Kansas City Royals. Now, that might not be super exciting to some people, but at the same time too, they are also only a half game back of the Minnesota Twins for that second wild card spot, and somehow they've also closed the gap a pretty decent amount on that first wild card spot. Now, assuming that they could outpace the Baltimore Orioles throughout the rest of the season and nab that first wild card spot might be a bit unrealistic. It does lend some encouragement as to where the Red Sox could go this season, having closed that gap between the first place wild card spot to just 6.5 games. But it's not only that, it's also the fact that the Red Sox statistically are playing some of the best baseball they have played up until this point in the season. They are currently the 6th best team ERA in all of baseball. That is between both the starting rotation and the bullpen. They have the 4th best ERA in the AL. They also offensively have the 5th best OPS in the sport and the 3rd best OPS in the AL. By all accounts right now, looking at this team statistically, they are a top 10 team in Major League Baseball. So you may look at this and say, Corbin, why should we invest our time in this team if we don't even know if this success is sustainable or just a flash in the pan? And you're kind of right? We're not going to know whether or not this success is any sort of sustainable until they actually sustain it, right? Until they play these games, until they figure out if this is something they could do over the course of a 162 game season. It's a bit unpredictable right now, but there are things we could look at to give ourselves just a little bit of reassurance that they may be able to do this for a longer period of time. One of those things is something called run differential, which is essentially taking the runs that you've scored and subtracting the runs that you've given up. For the Red Sox, that total on the season is plus 49 runs. They've scored 49 more runs than they've given up this year. What this tends to indicate for teams is that they aren't really lucking into wins. They are decidedly winning these games, and that is a good sign in terms of whether or not there is any sort of sustainability here with the Red Sox success. The other part of this, in terms of looking at whether or not this is sustainable, is health. Health has been the biggest factor of the Boston Red Sox 2024 season. In fact, they've been one of the most unlucky teams in baseball when it comes to impactful injuries. However, over the last couple of weeks, we've started to see that turn a corner a little bit, at least so far. Knock on wood that doesn't change. When we take a look at this Red Sox team currently, you've got guys in this lineup like Masataka Yoshida, who came back from injury. I know he's not producing the way that most people would like him to produce right now, but he is healthy in this lineup. You've got Tyler O'Neill, who's healthy back in this lineup, and he is producing the way I think most people would want him to produce. Wilyer Abreu came back the other day. You're starting to see this team come together a little bit and look a little bit more like the team that the Red Sox had put together this offseason. On top of that, reinforcements are on the way. Tristan Casas got an MRI yesterday to sort of determine where he was in his progress. We should get some news on that later this afternoon. Probably going to be a 2-video day. You've got Vaughn Grissom coming back as well. And to me, this is a big sign that this sustainability is a possibility, right? Because even if these guys who are currently in this lineup start to slow down a little bit and they start to maybe come back down to earth towards the mean a little bit, you're getting reinforcements. And what reinforcements does to to the Boston Red Sox is one of two things. It either, one, really builds on what the Red Sox have started doing here and really just brings them into juggernaut territory in terms of an offense, or it's going to help replace the loss of production as guys start to cool off a little bit in this lineup. So to me, when you're looking at whether or not this success is sustainable, you're looking at these two factors and you're saying, yeah, I think this success could be a sustainable thing over the course of a 162 game season. It's just a matter of what does that success look like? Is it staying around 7 games above 500? Is it getting better than that? Is it getting closer to 500 but still playing winning baseball? That is still yet to be seen, but I think in terms of whether or not this team could be competitive, they absolutely could and they absolutely should, and right now, that's what we should expect from the Boston Red Sox. But there's a couple of other things I want to talk about when it comes to why you should be investing your time in this team that have to do with things outside of just their statistical play. However, before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button as well. It just helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Thank you all very much for taking a second and doing so. Let's go over some other reasons to invest in the Red Sox. It's not only that this team statistically has been really solid, it's also that this team is just immensely talented. At the beginning of the year, one of the biggest criticisms we saw about the Boston Red Sox, and really partially through this year as well, is that they just don't have any star power. And that was a very fair criticism to make of this team going into 2024. Ownership did not invest the way that we were expecting ownership to invest, like they have over the past few years when they've made really good Red Sox teams. But at this point in the season, I think it's fair to say that they do have some superstar talent that has been emerging over the course of 2024. You've got AL Cy Young candidate Tanner Houck heading this rotation. You've got emerging superstar, honestly at this point just flat out superstar, Jarren Duran, who not only should be an all-star candidate this year, but if the season ended today, this is a dude who should be and probably will be receiving MVP votes by the end of the season. Connor Wong is starting to emerge as one of the game's best hitting catchers, right? He's probably right now top 4. I would even say top 3 in terms of hitting catchers in Major League Baseball. You've got 3 different Rookie of the Year candidates. They might not win Rookie of the Year, but they're playing good enough to be in consideration in Ceddanne Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu, and to everyone's surprise outside of Money Mike Madness, David Hamilton as well. And at the center of all of it is your $300 million man, Rafael Devers, playing like a $300 million man. That is very legitimate star power when it comes to the Boston Red Sox. Just because they didn't come into the year as superstars doesn't mean they aren't going to finish 2024 like superstars. And what makes this even more exciting and what makes this an even bigger reason to tune into the Red Sox this summer is the fact that these guys are not just simply flashes in the pan. These guys are players that the Red Sox can legitimately build around. You're starting to see the future of the Boston Red Sox develop right before your very eyes, and to me, that is absolutely exciting. But above all else, in my opinion, the biggest reason why you should be tuning into this Red Sox team and really investing into their future is because they are simply fun to watch. Over this stretch of baseball, the Red Sox have truly identified who they are and are playing to their strengths. They are being athletic on the diamond. They are manufacturing runs because of this athleticism, and it's just flat out fun to watch. This team is a whole bunch of grinders. They are a team composed of people who refuse to give up on the baseball field, and whether that be on a night-to-night basis where, like last night, they didn't give up on a game. They came back from 4-run deficit in the 8th and then walked it off in the 9th, or the season as a whole. Since the very beginning of this year, they've been beaten down not only by injuries to this team, but by narratives surrounding it, by an ownership group that refused to invest in it, and yet they come out here every night and they play for each other, they play for this city, and they do their very best to win these baseball games. That's what makes this team even more exciting, because beyond the fact that they're playing well, beyond the fact that they have some superstar talent, is the fact that they really play as one unit. The fact that they go out there and they have a good time on the baseball field, which in turn makes them a fun team to watch for this fan base. And I absolutely love what they've been doing over this stretch of gameplay. Again, is it sustainable? I don't know. Is it unbelievably fun to watch right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your butt and tell you that this team is immediately a World Series contender or even a postseason contender, because we just don't know what this team is going to look like by the end of the year. There's still a lot of question marks surrounding it. There's still a lot of things that need to go right for them to do that. There's still a lot of things that could obviously go wrong. What I'm trying to sit here and what I'm trying to convey in this video is not that this team is going to win a World Series. It's that it's worth investing in. It's worth enjoying Red Sox baseball right now because they deserve that. They have scratched and clawed their way out of mediocrity this season by simply just grinding it out and playing for each other. They have made themselves an extremely easy team to root for. And again, it's not just that what we're watching on the TV or watching in the stands right now is them playing for 2024. It's also them playing for 2025 and beyond. We're starting to see this team emerge in all facets going forward for the next couple of years. And this team right now could not only be successful in 2024, but scary in 2025 and beyond as well. And that's what really gets me excited. I am absolutely and fully in on the 2024 Red Sox. I'm aboard for the ride, and I absolutely think you should be too, because it's not only going to be a fun little roller coaster of a season based on what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, but it's going to be a determinant as to what the Red Sox do in the future, and that's going to be wildly important. So I'm in on the Boston Red Sox, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. 1, were you in on the Red Sox before this video, and why? 2, if you weren't, did this sway you in the direction of supporting this Red Sox team? Let me know all your thoughts on the possibility of believing in the Boston Red Sox in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Sox almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Again, it just helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content we are putting out. Don't forget, you can always get these episodes in podcast form, either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, which are in the description of this video, or by heading over to your favorite podcasting app and looking up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you very happily right now in the Red Seats.